Hi guys, today we're going to do a pop art project, and it's making words look like they have character and they're doing something. And our artist that this project is off is Andy Warhol. In the 1960s, Andy Warhol became known as one of the leading artists in the pop art movement. Pop artists felt that art should reflect modern life, so they made art inspired by the world around them, from movies, advertising, and pop music to comic books and even product packaging. So if you've seen before the Campbell's Soup example, that one's a fun one. Warhol was famous for exploring everyday objects and familiar objects in his work, using like Coca-Cola and Campbell's Soup. He liked the idea of taking ordinary things, for example, cereal or bananas, and turning them into art. So we'll do a couple projects off pop art. So the first one we're going to do is a word. So words can have characters, they can have action. So the word snap here, you can make it look like it's actually snapping by breaking it apart and having an implied line. Boom, the word boom, you can make it look like it's exploding, making that sound by changing those O's into an action sound. Click, you could give it the idea of the click, it's snapping together. Word bubbles are always a good way of showing that. So this example is pow. And you can see it has like, the cartoons would punch each other and it would make that, the stars go. So it's kind of that pow sound of like a cartoon. So what makes pop art unique is it has some characteristics. It has Ben-Day dots. These are not just polka dots, but they're dots lined in a row. So if you took a ruler, they would be straight across and an even distance. And look how they're interspersed here. They should be in between. So it looks kind of like the dice of five numbers on a die. So Ben-Day dots, you want to have those in your project. Diagonal lines, and you can use this with a ruler. And everyday objects you could use. So you could do stars or your favorite toy. Some examples of this would be you could have an emoji somewhere. That's kind of today's everyday's art today. So you could use that as inspiration. And you also need a ruler. So what you should do for this project, and I have a couple more examples here to show you. This word is really fun. Splat. You can see it has raindrops and it looks like a splat puddle. Vroom here. It has wheels, so it shows that action of a car moving. Crack, the word here is like, cracking apart a stick or something. It shows the words actually breaking apart. So there's some other examples of words showing action in pop art. So what you'll want to do is think of a word. Let's do snap, Declan. And you might want to make your words large, as in you'll want them to be block letters like we practiced. So my S, if we were going to have this word snap, so think of a word. I think that's the hardest part, is thinking of the word that you want to describe. But draw block letters, okay? Now I like how the N is going to be broken up into pieces. So it's snapped apart. So that N has snapped apart, so you could have little pieces of that. Need to make this a little bit smaller. I'm running out of room. A good way to make sure you don't run out of room for your letters is to start with the middle two letters and then work that direction. So I would have started here if I was careful and put all that in there. And then P, make sure we have enough room, so we've got those. So what you'll want to do with this is to take this and you'll cut these letters out. You might want to color them first, color them in, then you'll cut them out. You'll also need some scrap newspaper. So you could glue your scrap newspaper onto a piece of paper and then cut out a bubble. So the scrap newspaper is going to be glued onto another piece of paper. Here you've got one paper, you're going to need a second piece of paper, and then you'll glue your newspaper onto that piece of paper, cut out a shape. Think, do I want a bubble letter? Cloud-like letter? Do I want a snapping explosion letter? And then, or a bubble. So here's what, I can take this off. This is where your second would be. So you've got your letter, fully colored, cut out. Then you'll have your newspaper that you've done into a bubble and cut that, glue and paste, cut, and then cut it out. So you have this. So this is your second step. Your third step would be use some color construction paper, make another bubble letter, and make sure you put those Ben-Day dots and stripes on there, and maybe some star shapes or some everyday items, and then you'll glue that all together. So in this project I had 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of paper, but you could get away with just 3 pieces of paper. So you have a couple different steps to do, and you can make those words look like they had some characteristics, like the word splat actually looks like it's splatting, and the word vroom looks like it's moving. The word snap will look like it's snapping, and this word pal looks like it got punched. So those are your first, that's your first project with Pop Art. So have fun doing that. Can you push pause? Bye.